The first of two confirmation hearings for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wrapping up just a few moments ago. President Trump's choice to lead the Department of Health and Human Services with its 84,000 employees and nearly $2 trillion budget faced 3.5 hours of questioning from senators. Here's just some of what we heard today.
I'm humbled to be sitting here today as President Trump's nominee oversee the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
He said, and I quote, "You would do anything, pay anything to go back in time and not vaccinate your kids." Are you lying to Congress today when you say you are pro-vaccine? Or did you lie on all those podcasts? We have all of this on tape.
It's been repeatedly debunked. That statement that I made on the Lex Friedman podcast was a fragment of the statement.
This matters. It doesn't matter what you come here and say that isn't true, that's not reflective of what you really believe, that you haven't said over decade after decade after decade, because unlike other jobs we're confirming around this place, this is a job where it is life and death.
President Trump has asked me to end the chronic disease epidemic and make America healthy again.
Well, News Nation's Joe Khalil live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, you listened into all of this. There were some tough and then not so tough questions from senators, which was essentially expected.
Yeah, and that was basically what we had coming in. What we expected was this was going to be a tense hearing. At times, it certainly was. 3.5 hours. Democrats really grilled Robert F. Kennedy Jr. A lot of tough questions, most of that focused on his past history, his statements and views on vaccines that have been controversial. RFK Jr. today in his opening tried to hammer home the point that he does not consider himself to be anti-vax, but Democrats continue to point again and again to previous statements and previous views that he has had, previous interviews that he's done in the last few years. Should just mention, by the way, that if you're hearing a lot of noise behind me still, there were dozens and dozens of supporters of RFK Jr. with MAHA, Make America Healthy Again hats and shirts, many of them still behind us in the Senate hallway. So you heard that certainly almost every time he made a point in the hearing, there was applause. That was the reason why. Now, interestingly, RFK Jr., we knew part of the contentious back and forth was he was a Democrat not very long ago, and a year ago was actually running for president at first as a Democrat before becoming an independent. That means that his views on things like abortion reflected the Democratic mainstream view. So he got some heat from Democrats for, in their view, flipping on his opinions on abortion. We asked several Republicans whether he put to bed concerns they may have had on not being so pro-life as several Republicans are on the committee. Most Republicans told us that they felt he did put their concerns to bed. Take a listen, though, to just one exchange with Senator Elizabeth Warren and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. that got pretty contentious.
And I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits so that what you do as secretary will also benefit you financially down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
No. Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
So a lot of tense moments. I'm not sure there was any more tense moment than what you just heard. Interestingly, by the way, too, Nichole, tomorrow, RFK Jr. comes back in the Health Committee. So this is just one. He's going to get another bite at the apple here in front of senators.
Yep, it will be a day two. We will see what day two brings. All right, Joe Khalil. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.